hit the record button here. Okay, we're recording. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Claimed podcast, YouTube channel, whatever you're watching or listening to this. I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Chandler. And Chandler has been a client of ours, and she's been in the Claimed program. And she's here now to tell us about her story and her story of transformation as she went through this journey of Claimed with us. And I'm so grateful, Chandler, that you're here. I know that women who come to share their story, sometimes this is the first time they're doing this. And I really wanted to tell you that how grateful and humbled I am that you're doing this, because I know this might not be easy, or you might be nervous or whatever. So whatever you're feeling is totally normal, and all of you is welcomed, and whatever you're going to share today is going to be beautiful and enough. So welcome, Chandler. Super excited that you're here with me today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I do feel nervous, but I'm happy to come and talk about the experience as well. So thank you for the invite.
Yeah, thank you. Being nervous is totally normal. I mean, I've been doing this for 3.5 years, so, it's like second nature to me, but I totally get it. So let's begin, Chandler, with you telling us a little bit about yourself and how did you find about my work?
Yeah, so I think I saw an advertisement on Facebook, and I don't consider myself one to get suckered into advertisements typically, but for some reason I watched it. And I think it was the first time I'd ever heard of the polarity dynamic explained. But it's something that I had felt in the year previously and wanted more of. And I think it was the dynamic I wanted with men that I could never put my finger on as I was trying to describe to other people why I hadn't quite found the person yet that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you want to give a bit of detail about yourself? Like, where do you live? As much as you want to or can, obviously. This could be totally confidential or as much as you want to share.
Sure. So I live in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. So there are a lot of older single people here, which is nice. I think people come and get consumed in their careers and making something of themselves. And it does happen that my career is based here. So it's a little bit nice in the fact that I'm not alone being single and entering into my 40s. So my career is a data scientist. So that's my background. And that was just kind of something that I stumbled into. And as I mentioned before, I'm getting into coaching on the side as well, which feels much more fulfilling. Mm-hmm. So, and then the biggest change is a new puppy in the last year. So
I love it.
That's my life right now.
I also love that you're a data scientist, and I would be very curious to see as we progress through this conversation how you were able to kind of merge that very, cognitive, intellectual side of yourself, who is a data scientist, with the work that we're doing in Claimed, which is very much embodiment and dropping from your head into your body and all of that. So I'll be definitely asking you questions about it as we move along. So let's begin, I guess, with what was your situation before you obviously found my work and decided to sign up and work together? What were the patterns perhaps you've been experiencing, in your relationship dynamics with men, or what was really challenging, or what were you struggling with?
So I think in your intro, there's like an hour before you sign up for a delivery call video that you give that kind of talks about the program.
The webinar. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the webinar. And so you describe the dynamic that women find themselves in when they're in their masculine, which is dating feminine men or dating assholes. So I had dated both, and I kind of went back and forth, and I had some people that were in the middle, but I had more than one man that I was in a serious relationship with offered to take care of the kids, or had dated men that weren't quite available and probably worked too hard to try to get their attention rather than moving on. And so I think I had done a lot of healing work, and I had done some counseling and kind of figured out the root of that then in this last year, I met somebody, and a couple of guys actually, where I feel like I really experienced polarity with them. I felt like they were very giving in their nature. I felt like I could just be and relax and go with the flow. And so I think the biggest attraction for me to Claimed was I didn't understand why those situations were so different or necessarily like how to manifest more of it. And I think what appealed most was having a supportive group of women to date with. So a lot of my girlfriends are either over it or they come and go out of dating and they're not interested in putting that much energy into it. And I think that it's something that obviously we want to flow and we want to let things happen naturally, but we do want exposure. And so I was really drawn to finding other women who also wanted to make room for that in their lives and grow in their femininity and learn more about it.
Yeah, cool. So you're saying that, been dating feminine men or assholes, the pattern that most women are dealing with when they join Claimed, and perhaps some of them were emotionally unavailable. And you have met men who was that masculine type of a guy, and you wanted to see how you can manifest more of it, and I guess what are the tools to maintain that or attract more of that and then sustain that long term. And so I'm curious, Chandler, what do you remember the point where you said, okay, I need to do something about it, let me take action, sign up for a discovery call, and actually, well, tell me first about that, because there's a difference between, exploring on your own or doing other things. And obviously the women listening to this might be at that stage where they're just seeking solutions and seeking answers. Do you remember that maybe there was a turning point where you said, all right, I'm going to sign up for this and see what this is about?
Yeah, definitely. So I enjoyed I'm sorry, what do you call it? The video.
The webinar.
The webinar.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much, Anna, that I actually gave it to some of my clients because I think a lot of the client work that I do is on understanding yourself. And so a lot of that, part of that is understanding what it is to be a woman. And so I threw this webinar their way as a resource, right? Because I felt like it was really powerful and I learned so much just by watching it. And I think over time I thought, well, this is such good content and I wonder what else is behind it, right? If this is just the tip of the iceberg, what else is in it? And here I am doing this coaching for women. And if there's more out there that I can know and just to grow myself and be an example and invest in myself the way that I'm investing in these women, that really kind of flipped it for me and made me think, this is worth the investment and I'm worth the investment. If there's that much more to know.
Yeah, beautiful. And do you remember what happened in the discovery call and what made you say yes to enrolling into the program?
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point, just kind of being a data girl and having studied a lot of psychology, and
right.
It was just more, interesting to watch the flow of the conversation. And I worked with Barbara, and she was wonderful. And she did kind of the drop-in experience. And I had done a little bit of embodiment work, not the methods used in your program, but I wasn't scared off. But I really felt like her invitation to kind of picture and do the vision work around, what I'm looking for. It felt like an easy invitation. And so everything on the call just made it very easy to confirm my instincts that I wanted to move forward.
Yeah, beautiful. For everybody listening, Barbara is actually, she has been through the program and she's one of the biggest success stories. And she has quit her corporate job and joined our team to conduct these discovery calls. And she's doing great. And, she always has these stories about how she's now in a relationship with this amazing guy in New York and, he's renting their apartment and it's just so beautiful. In fact, as I speak to you, Chandler, she's in Ecuador now at her girlfriend's wedding in some fancy jungle with her boyfriend. So she's found her man through the program. She's so passionate about the work that now she's joined my team to have these conversations with amazing women like you, and then enroll them into the program. So beautiful. All right. Well, let's get into the juicy part, Chandler, in terms of what happened in the program. I'm mostly interested in maybe 2 or 3 of your biggest shifts and biggest aha moments that you've experienced, especially because you said you've done work in the past like counseling and healing. So I'm really
Yeah.
curious about those 2-3 big shifts that happened for you through this journey.
Yeah, so I think first it was the embodiment method that you used. The practices I feel like are so accessible to anyone at any time. And to me, I felt like your work is very empowering. The methods are very empowering, meaning that somebody can go through the program and be able to find their own answers in life or have like, more tools to do that. So was a big aha moment. And of course, that led me to FECC to getting the certification in embodiment. So
Which is,
another,
hang on, we need to pause here and actually tell everyone that Chandler has been such a big fan of this work that she signed up for the FECC's, the Feminine Embodiment Coaching certification that I have done a few years ago. So Chandler has now embarked into the coaching certification program to learn how to actually coach others in this modality. And I'm just so happy. I was so happy to hear that. It's the best, I think, tribute to this work, when women get in there, use the tools, see results, and actually say, you know what, I want to pursue this further and deeper. And that's how we have, the coach on our team, Stephanie, who's also has been a client. She also enrolled, and now she's part of my team coaching women in the program. Sorry to interrupt, but I thought we needed to kind of put a pin in there and explain that, because that's, I really love when clients, when women who enter, they want to go deeper, and because this work, it has no end in terms of the depth and also the scope of it, because we discussed a little bit before this call, Chandler, how you can bring embodiment tools and practices to basically any niche in whatever you want to do. So anyways, okay, so embodiment practices, you said they're very accessible and empowering, and you can get your own answers by using these tools. And I love that you said that, because a lot of the stuff in the coaching, and I'm sure you experienced that as well, I feel like a lot of people get hooked up on a coach or a psychologist or a therapist that can just give me the answers or quote unquote fix me, and help me because I can't do it on my own. And when I've done my certification and when I've really explored and discovered this modality of coaching, and I'm so grateful to have Jenna Ward as my mentor. I mean, everybody knows Jenna Ward through me and obviously through other people, but like Jenna and Anna Rova are like intertwined, and we always, people come from, we exchange clients and women who kind of traveled between us. And it's so important. And over the years, looking back, I realized how important it is to have the right mentor, the right philosophy, especially in coaching and in business or career. Because what I learned for this modality is, when I look at women like you, Chandler, and this is what happens actually in the discovery call, we know and we have absolute faith that you have all the answers that you need to experience the result that you want. You're a sovereign, powerful woman that just perhaps needs certain tools or just some guidance. That's it. And when we coach in the Claim program, and I know Jenna has the same philosophy, we look at our coaching relationship, client coach, as almost like a peer-to-peer relationship, as in, I'm not better than you. I'm not interested in being a guru here. In fact, Anna Rova is just somebody who made the program. I'm not even there 100% now. But it creates this beautiful relationship where me and you, Chandler, step into this container where I'm like, I'm a woman like you, and here's some tools, and I can guide you through it. So not sure what, yes, the fact that you said empowering, because you're right, here are the tools, and then women come in and then they unravel in their own beautiful ways and they find their own answers. And the best thing I think about this is that you can then use these tools as you go, and they're sustainable and they're for life. So you actually don't need me further down the line to kind of tell you, okay, here's what you need to do, but you can actually create your own practice and take it deeper. Of course, I'm available for any guidance and stuff, but these are your tools and your own answers to explore.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really appreciate about the practice as well is, and I can't remember if I heard this from you or from getting started in the program, is that the body isn't going to take the clients somewhere where they're not ready to go.
Mm.
And so for me, that just created this feeling of safety, knowing that when the body leads, that it really is what the next step is for that individual.
Yeah, absolutely. The body can't give you more than you can handle. And it's a natural, when you listen to your body, there's no, and when you create safety, that's right, there's no way you can re-traumatize, let's say, or go to a place where you haven't been before in a way that's very scary or traumatizing, as I said. So yeah, it's a beautiful practice that lets you unfold and go deeper and transform in your own pace at your own time, and you're going to meet yourself where you are. All right, so that's the first shift. You said the embodiment piece. Well, what else happened? What else have you discovered?
Yeah, so am happy to share this here because this one, the credit for this one does go straight to you. So in one of the group calls that you were on and you were leading, I spoke up that evening and you led me to possibly there being a pattern in a situation that I was describing. And so I realized that I had this belief that if I dated men my age or older, that I would have to be serious all the time. It would be boring. They wouldn't be in good shape, which obviously, led me to not wanting to date these guys or going into it half-heartedly. And so as soon as I turned that over and realized that, no, I could really meet somebody who is incredibly, proficient in his niche for what he does for work, and that it could be exciting and that he could be fit, a lot changed. And so right away, the quality of men that I started encountering and the quality of men that I started turning away, or the men that I started turning away, led me to magnetize the type of guys that I was looking for. And so the next string of dates that I went on, I would say that the men were successful. I felt, very taken care of. The dates were wonderfully set up. The communication was clear. I felt like I could just go with the flow and just be myself.
Yeah, beautiful. Isn't that? I always find it so amazing how just kind of a small shit. And obviously, you've been doing the work, Chandler. It's not like you showed up on call. I told you, no, actually, there are guys who are older and they're fit, and they're like, yep, okay, great, Anarova. And then you start magically to attract. I mean, obviously, this is a mindset shift, but also you've been doing the work and showing up, and I know that that is the result of that. Obviously I might have kind of contributed to, and that's the role of a coach who can kind of give you a different perspective. But I always find it so amazing. We talk to so many women on discovery calls, and we always, they're like, men in New York are just horrible. Men in the Bay Area are horrible. In Zurich, like the same narrative is everywhere. I hear it from women in everywhere. It's not them. Well, they kind of intuitively know that it's them, but we tend to kind of look externally and say, oh, it's the location or it's the age of the men or whatever. And then when you really understand that you do create your own reality of men, and there's plenty of men out there who are different, who can be 50, 55 and, be very, very fit, be very, very young at heart, have a lot of adventures out there, and who are looking to date. They're single. And so, yeah, I just find it amazing when a woman shifts her perspective and mentality and her body set through her belief system about men. That's what we do in the program. She starts to attract different types of men, and she's like, yeah, I don't know. I've been living here for 10, 20 years and I haven't seen them before. And now they're like, I've been living under a rock, and they're all kind of showing up. And I think this is the biggest thing why I do this work. Because when women experience a different reality, it's just amazing. That's what happened for me, because I had obviously the same beliefs about men, and everything has shifted and transformed because I did. I chose to look at men differently. So yeah. Do you want to tell us a
Yeah.
story, like a dating? Do you have a story for us that's a great story?
I wanted to look up the date for you, but literally after that call, and I kind of identified, like you said, we do the work. And so I identified my pattern and I did the limiting belief process work. literally, like, it was within a week. It was crazy that somebody found me through one of my circles through social media and just set up the most casual date, and was this professional, good-looking guy who was super fit. So, which was just encouraging too, because I know a lot of us are online looking for men, but just to have somebody like out of the blue in a circle I already knew within such a short time frame, it was pretty profound.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Love it. Anything else you want to mention in terms of your transformation and aha moments?
So this is kind of a deep one. The last one that I would share is that I realized that there was I was comfortable with the two types of men, like men that were more feminine or more men that were more masculine, and or sorry, men that were the assholes. But I had a little bit of a fear of the guys in the middle. Like if I saw somebody on a dating
Mm.
profile with a motorcycle, it created some type of fear in me. And I would say that, I think empathy is such a powerful tool to really understand who you're across the table from. And I think the program drew me even further to wanting to understand men and kind of where they're at, and realizing that, there's more to everyone's story. And so I think through the program, it gave me, sort of just that aha to be able to entertain more men that were presenting as very masculine. And even though that energy, at first I wasn't quite used to holding that, but actually they, can be very thoughtful, and, they're not just all out looking for only sex, and they've got, experiences. And I think that's something that you encourage. And I just think it's so powerful and important to, like, consider who's across from the table from their perspective, because so often we get wrapped up in our own narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you just mentioned is one of the biggest aha moments for the majority of women. We actually, a couple of weeks ago, as you probably know, we have enrolled actually a feminine embodiment coach who has been, coaching in feminine embodiment and has her business and everything, but she enrolled to work on that relationship piece. And I
Wow.
was very curious to see how would that unfold for her, because obviously she knows the embodiment part, right? And there's three main pillars I always explain with our program. It's that feminine masculine polarity, which is the foundation, obviously digging into that from an embodiment perspective as well, but also from theoretical and attraction perspective. And then there's the reframing beliefs, and then there's feminine embodiment. So the three pillars. So a lot of the times, obviously, I mean, some women have not done any of the work in any of the three pillars. For them, it's like totally mind-blowing. Some of them are coming in with a little bit of knowledge of polarity. Maybe they worked on feminine practices, but they really haven't worked on the beliefs and the embodiment. And so for a lot of women, the feminine embodiment is the missing piece, kind of when they realized, I just interviewed Dana Sharkey from the program, and she says, well, I've done so much work, but the embodiment really put it all together for me. So for Megan, for example, who is that feminine embodiment coach, she's done all the embodiment. And on our last coaching session last week, she reported, and she said, oh my God, I know that I have done so much work on myself, and it's solid and it's there. But what I'm missing is actually my knowledge and understanding of the masculine journey and what men go through on that other side, because we're so wrapped up in our head, about who we are as women, what's important to us, and obviously because we are women. But when you discover that whole world of what they are dealing with, and who they are and all of that, because we're not educated on that, it totally changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah,
And I
I
also,
agree.
yeah, what I wanted to mention is something that I also experienced, Chandler, when I started, especially. So when I met my husband, I wanted to say current husband. I'm like, I didn't have any other husbands, so hopefully no other husbands after him. My current husband, well, he's my current husband. I also have been experiencing, obviously, this pattern of emotionally unavailable men, and also feminine men. And so when I met him, there was that thing of like, oh shit, am I worthy of this? Like, there's this great guy here who has everything that I wanted, and he's taking me on trips, and he's making great money, and like he's fit and all of that. He's also older than me. And I was like, whoa, what is this? So it's kind of like my body had to catch up with the reality of things. And I had a lot of doubts about myself, and it's all a worthiness thing. It's like, am I worthy of these great men? And you're right, when you start to shift and change and you start to experience these different types of men, there is this thing of like, all right, what do I do now? How do I behave? How do I be in that dynamic? And so that understanding of the masculine, but also the embodiment work really helps keep yourself grounded. We're always with women. Women are like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. He's planning everything. We're like, all right, calm down. Do your feminine flow. Keep doing your funnel. It's all good. Just receive and watch and witness. Stay grounded in your body and let him lead. Yeah.
I've never heard you, my heart just went out to you. I've never heard you explain that season of you for kind of growing into this man that you had met to me, but it makes perfect sense. So I took a dating break after those men that I was meeting right away. They were all wonderful and just none was, quite the fit. So, but I thought I just have to internalize this. I just have to all this in. So yeah, the body.
Yeah, sometimes it becomes too much. Like you got to pause there and kind of just like, ooh, let's take a breath here. Because this is, I mean, it's so different, It's like I've experienced a total transformation in the men that not only I was attracting, but also in all the men that were around me, in my family, in, my colleagues and peers. We know that a lot of women, as they go through this journey, their dynamics with men at work change and their dynamics with their work changes as well, because you're just shifting the mentality. And as you said, there's a lot of empathy that's created. So yeah, beautiful shifts, Chandler. Thank you. So where are you now? Like compared to, if you were to look back, compared to your previous situation before you started the program, and then where you are now, how would you describe that difference, and how do you feel now? What's happening in your current situation?
Yeah. So I am building my funnel and seeing if I can do it all over again first. So this is kind of how I explain it, to my girlfriends when I'm talking to them. So my dating pattern before is I would go online and I would talk to 6 to 8 guys, and maybe I would go out with 1 or 2, and then I would be emotionally exhausted and I would go offline for a few months. And I think at this point, after the program, because of the support that I've gained in it and some of the women I'm still connected with and just the tools I'm still practicing, I just have the capacity for so much more to, just kind of be dating as I'm interested and as it's convenient for me. And my circles, I think my exposure, even in non-online, has expanded. And I just feel way more confident in, how I'm showing up and who I want to be with. And if, I go online and I see 100 people and none of them match, that's okay too. Because I know that the right thing will come to me as well. So yeah, I think there's just a lot more peace.
So beautiful. Yeah. We also talk about, so many women come into this journey totally burned out and exhausted with their dating patterns. And I'm like, oh, the worst thing you can do is to continue dating when you're like burnt out and exhausted, because you're just perpetuating that cycle. And we always say dating is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be exciting. There's nothing worse than like, oh, another one. And then you put on your red lipstick with this like disappointed face. And then you like go to this restaurant expecting the same. I was like, oh, I hate that. I would hate for another woman to do that, to experience that. So yeah, I love that you're saying that. And obviously, the point, and we always talk about this in the program, the goal of the program is not to get you into a relationship or marriage necessarily, or engagement, which is obviously what we want. But that's not really our focus here, because we know, or I know, that if we do a great job through the program of giving you the tools, the guidance, the support that you need to really shift the patterns and the dynamic and that belief system that you have, then everything will flow. And obviously we can't control all of the little pieces that go into a relationship or a marriage or whatever, but the focus is really to give you the tools that are sustainable and long-term, so that you are in that great mindset and body set and feeling like there's peace and calmness, and I can see that in you, and there's excitement about men and a lot of understanding, and that's a beautiful foundation for creating the relationship that you want. So amazing, Chandler. Last question for you, for all the women listening. And let's say if a woman is in the same exact situation, perhaps, or a similar situation that you have been in, and she's listening to this, why would you recommend signing up for a discovery call to explore, or even enrolling into the program and doing this work?
Yeah, so Anna, like a lot of the parts of the program I had seen, at some point I had some frame of reference at different points in the program of like just maybe something I learned, but with a different twist. And there was a lot of new content, but just for everything that I've been exposed to, it's just so artful. Like it's really thoughtful. Your program is so well put together and it's really unique. It really captures something that I think society is missing right now. I even feel emotional talking about this, right? But like, how many of us really go through like a proper passage of the right of womanhood, right? And this program, I feel like goes back and it like offers that to people. So yeah, I just think if anyone has the instinct and wants the support, I think that we make change with somatic experiences, which are the practices you teach. I think we make change by being met with the empathy through others, which is the support that you give through the program. Yeah, I think that the program's the total package, and I wholeheartedly would recommend other women into it who think that it might help. If you think it might help, I definitely think it will.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that you called it artful. I don't think anybody has described it as artful before. I've got a lot of different descriptions, but not artful. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Because when it's like great, it works, it's foundational. Rite of passage of womanhood. Definitely, that's one of the biggest milestones, and obviously that happens in the middle of the program when we go through all of that. But when you say artful, I'm like, there's some magic to it and some creativity and all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So everybody listening, if you are feeling a pull and you want to explore further, I invite all of you to just apply for your free discovery call, girlskill.com/apply. You'll be able to fill in a quick application and then book your discovery call with us. And of course, enrolling into the program. After that, highly recommend if you want to experience what Chandler has experienced or more. So Chandler, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. Again, I'm so grateful and humbled that you decided to come here and share your story. I wish you all the best with your coaching certification. I can't wait to see what comes out of that, and I'm sure great things will. And you're still in the program, so we'll see you on the inside.
Yeah, I'll see you around. Thank you.
Thank you.